White supremacy is on the rise, and it has a new face driven in large part by the rise of the alt-right. White supremacists believe the white race is in danger of extinction. They feel like they're being replaced, blaming non-whites for their national economic troubles.
White people should have the same treatment as any other groups. We should be able to stand up for ourselves.
Middle-aged and overwhelmingly male, white supremacists have moved from online activism into the real world. This is Barbara Perry, director of the Center on Hate, Bias, and Extremism, who says white supremacy has a new, more subtle look.
They're not wearing the white robes of the Klan, and they're not wearing the black leather jackets of the skinheads. Many of them are white-collar workers. They're well-educated, they're sophisticated, and their use of technology, they're sophisticated in their language and their construction of narratives. So the movement really has changed its face.
In the U.S., public white supremacy events have increased by 123% since 2016. By 2018, the number of known hate groups in the U.S. rose to its highest level in 2 decades, pushed by a combination of political polarization, anti-immigrant sentiment, and social media platforms that spread propaganda online.
What is different now is people are more empowered to come out with their beliefs, thinking that it's become normalized because of various factors such as the Trump election in the States, the rise of nationalism throughout Europe and Brazil and throughout the world.
And sometimes it could have deadly consequences. A man murdered 50 worshippers and critically wounded 9 more at 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand on March 15th.
These are not lone actors. They acted individually, but they're shaped by a greater collective of which they're a part.
The guns used in the mass killing were decorated with the names of several violent white supremacists. Experts believe there is a trickle-down effect when it comes to feeling emboldened.
When people turn on the TV and they see constant battling between the left and the right, they see Trump saying openly racist things on CNN, and they're feeling enabled that they too can now come forward and share beliefs that they previously thought were embarrassing or shameful.
Hattigan is a former white supremacist who helped shut down the Heritage Front, one of Canada's most powerful white supremacist groups in the 90s.
Unfortunately, with the advent of the internet, somebody can recruit from 2,000 miles away. The message propagates faster than anything we've ever seen before.
Recruiting tactics are ruthless. She says they befriend those with low self-esteem, the people who feel like they don't belong. Hattigan immigrated from then-communist Romania as a young girl. Her father died, and her mother was abusive. She ended up in a foster home.
So I was 16, just dropped out of high school, and really angry and alone, and didn't have a sense of belonging, didn't know who I was. And one day I was watching television, and I saw a guy, clean-cut man in a suit, talking about what's wrong with being proud of your European heritage.
She was soon the face of the organization, a clean-cut, innocent-looking European girl.
I was groomed very quickly. Within a month or 2, I was speaking at rallies. I was paraded in front of the media as a spokesperson for the organization, and I was taught how to recruit other people.
The trick? Find a person's worst fear and let it fester.
Maybe they lost a scholarship to an Asian student, or their girlfriend left them for a black guy. Whatever it was, I was taught to figure it out and go in for the kill.
The message is this: hate is self-preservation. Hattigan says today's hateful messages are now disguised as free speech.
It's a move that I call going from the boots to the suits.
Looking back historically, the Ku Klux Klan emerged in the late 1800s and re-emerged in the 1920s, where public lynching and racial terrorism was common practice. It comes back again in the 80s, except this time with neo-Nazi influence from white power skinheads. Experts say the last wave is where we are now, where mostly white middle-class men who believe the rights gained by immigrants or other minorities is a sign of their rights being taken away.
While they're fighting for free speech, the messages can actually reach vulnerable people who are more at risk of not understanding the difference between reality and fantasy or conspiracy. And those people will take that message to heart and feel like they have no choice but to go out and kill people.
Robert Gregory Bowers killed 12 Jewish worshippers in 2018. Alexandre Bissonnette massacred 6 Muslims the year before. And Dylan Roof murdered 9 Black Christian parishioners in 2015. The problem today, Hattigan says, is that online recruitment and hate speech is difficult to shut down. Speaking as a former white supremacist, she says all she ever needed was to be accepted.
The problem is when we don't have conversations about immigration, about the changing demographics. Those conversations are happening in echo chambers among websites and people who are hateful. And unfortunately, we have to confront that with facts as to why we need the immigration, as to why diversity is a strength and not something that is corroding people and their, and their fears.
Thanks for watching Global News. If you like what you saw, like the video. Also hit the subscribe button to get the latest international news and best trending videos.